Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jane.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Perfect. Good morning, Ayo.
Morning,
how are you?
G.
Perfect.
Well,
good
thanks.
morning, Rufai. Missed you yesterday.
Missed you too. Yeah.
Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
In the United States, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday told chairing legislators during a defiant wartime visit to the nation's capital that against all odds, his country still stands, thanking Americans for helping to fund the war effort with money that is not charity, but an investment in global security and democracy. Zelensky's whirlwind stop in Washington was the first known trip outside his country since Russia invaded Ukraine in February.
Your money is not charity. It's an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way.
In the United Kingdom, Nigeria's former Deputy Senate President, Ekweremadu, has again been denied bail by the Central Criminal Court. On Wednesday, the prosecution opposing the bill insisted that the lawmaker is a flight risk because he holds passports from two other nations, in addition to Nigeria. Ekweremadu and his wife, Beatrice, are facing charges bordering on conspiracy to facilitate the travel of another person with a view to exploitation, namely organ harvesting. In Nigeria, Vice President Professor Yemi Osibajo on Wednesday paid a courtesy visit to the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate, Kashim Shettima, setting social media abuzz following his absence at APC's presidential campaign activities since Tinubu became the standard bearer of the ruling party in June. Osibajo's visit comes amid President Muhammadu Buhari's announcement that he is ready to campaign vigorously for the victory of the party's presidential candidate. Under sports, Arsenal's Women's Super League forward Beth Mead on Wednesday was named BBC's Sports Personality of the Year for 2022. It is the first time in the award's 68-year history that a female footballer has won the coveted prize. The 27-year-old who assisted England to a history-making European championship that propelled women's football into the mainstream now follows in the footsteps of some of Great Britain's finest ever sports people, including 7-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton. Finally, under entertainment, English broadcaster and journalist Jeremy Clarkson is facing heavy backlash among fans and supporters of the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, after he wrote a turbulent article about the Duchess in The Sun, claiming that he hates her and that he is dreaming of the day when she is made to parade naked through the streets of every town in Britain, while the crowds chant shame. Following the debut of the royals' explosive documentary on Netflix, Harry and Meghan, ITV network, where Clarkson has hosted the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire since 2018, has decided to stand by him, allowing him keep his job despite thousands of complaints about the column.
It's a dirty game. The pain and suffering of women marrying into this institution. No one knows the full truth. We know the full truth.
Well, let's begin what's trending. History was made in Lagos State yesterday as the governor of the state, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, formally stepped into the coach of the newly completed Lagos Blue Line and took the first step aboard the electric-powered rail infrastructure. The governor, along with his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, and other government officials, rode from the National Theatre Station to the iconic station in Marina, where he disclosed that the project will be commissioned in January next year. The construction of the Blue Line, which started in 2010 under the administration of Babatunde Raji Fashola, a former governor of Lagos State, experienced some delays in the succeeding administration before the current administration continued from 2019. Sanwo-Olu, in his excitement, described the moment as historic.
We used to use Lamata as a test board to go on a lot of World Bank study tour to understand, to appreciate of what public transportation is all about. And Dr. Mebriola used to make Yanga because he came from TFL in London then to say to us that this is what, and I said to him, that don't worry, Lagos someday will be like this. Lagos that day is here and is here to witness it, and we're all here to see it. I want to acknowledge and thank the visionary leader of our leader at that time. And like I said, we were part of his cabinet, and we're watching, and we're seeing, we're studying. And today we can see that that seed has grown to become the biggest transport infrastructure in the entire sub-Saharan Africa. Thank you all very much for being part of the birth of Lamata.
Well, congratulations to this current administration. I mean, this project has been since 2010. Well, in another development, President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday launched a digital application called Eyemark, which enables citizens to monitor and evaluate projects executed by the government. Buhari stated during the launch of the digital application at the council chamber of the presidential villa in Abuja that the innovation will help forestall the practice of abandoning projects, as all stakeholders and citizens will continually interact on one platform. This is another great innovation, Dr. Abati. I did go on this website yesterday and I saw projects listed out in Lagos State, and it's amazing that the citizens can now get involved in the projects of administrations at this moment. It's a great time.
Yes, it's historic. A journey that was started in 1981, truncated in 1983. That vision, original vision, pushed by the Lateef Jakonde administration, has now yielded fruits because subsequent administrations that shared that vision have followed through. And now we have the blue line, the first piece of it, functioning. Now we've been told this will be powered by electricity from an independent power project managed by the Lagos State government. We hope that that electricity will not fail at any point in time. 2, we hope that lessons will be learned from what happened along the Abuja-Kaduna rail line and ensure that security is provided. 3, that security, which will also guarantee safety of those who use that line, should also include making sure that all kinds of unscrupulous persons don't go and start stealing the rail tracks overnight, because that is a very typical thing. Nigeria is the only country I've seen where government would provide the street lights, and you see citizens carrying stones and breaking the lights out of sheer wickedness. So I hope that all of those measures will be taken. However, for the Sanwo-Olu administration, it's the timing of the inauguration, it cannot be more perfect. Absolutely. Because this is election season. Yes. And this is his administration providing something concrete. Again, transportation is the first theme, in his team's agenda. So he's shown commitment to that agenda. But the big plan in the strategic transportation master plan for Lagos State is to have multimodal transportation network. So this is the blue line that is making progress with. There's still the red line. There's also the 4th mainland bridge project, and then the waterways and all of that. So in terms of expectations, we expect him to do more. As for the Eyemark.ng, that's the name of the portal, I think it's a very good development. Yes. What the Buhari administration wants to do is to give the people what we call the right to know. And definitely the people have the right to know what projects government is embarking upon, what level, the funding, and whether there will be variations or not. That portal would have. It will also promote accountability. It will also promote citizen participation. Yes. But having this portal does not mean that the monitoring and evaluation unit of the presidency should be de-emphasized, because there is actually a monitoring and evaluation team that reports directly to the president, following up on projects and writing reports. If possible, those reports should also be put on this portal. More importantly, this portal must not be used for propaganda. We expect that what is put there is facts, not politics. That's important. 2, who manages the portal is also important. It looks like it's domiciled in the Ministry of Finance, but do they have the capacity of information management and communication strategy in the Ministry of Finance? That has to be considered also. Only persons who have the competence should be in charge of that portal. But in terms of principle and effort, I think it's in order.
I think so too, Rufai.
So At first, as somebody living in Lagos, I'd like to say kudos to Governor Sanwo-Olu for making this happen. I mean, I'm so excited. I was so excited when I saw it that, we've got this happening in Lagos. I'm so excited, so excited. Lagos is rising, like some of its some others have been saying, rising greater Lagos. Sanwo-Olu. Well, we made our first incursion in rail in 1897. In fact, as in 1901, Lagos had a Lagos steam tramway, where it was used to help passengers to link between the Ido terminals famously and, passengers that were going to Ibadan and Abeokuta. But since then, it has just plummeted, and the dream for having a railway line that cuts across Lagos because of the growth of Lagos had been on until Lateef Jakande put a finger on it. And we all know how the military administration of President Muhammadu Buhari scuttled that. But we are happy that after that was brought on the front burner again, Sanwo-Olu achieved it after a lot of scrutiny and all of that. And congrats to him. Give the man his flowers. But for me, what the Lagosians too should do themselves is to ensure that we protect this infrastructure, because it's for all of us. I keep making reference to King's Cross Station in England. Anytime I'm in England and I travel through the King's Cross Station, it was built in 1852, and today it still sits there. When are we going to have infrastructure that's going to last over 100 years? It's all up to maintenance. We should be able to maintain what was built. There should also be accountability as regards how we run it. What's going to be the financial modeling of running this? Also, Governor Sanwo-Olu should use this to bring about a level of skill transfer. Those that built this should be able to start training young people in Lagos now to build the next one. Because for sustainable development, must always come from skills transfer. So who are the ones that are going to build the next one? I know contracts have been signed, but I foresee a day where a Nigerian company trained by people can build local rail lines. But good on them. And please, Lagosians, don't go and trade on this rail line because it is electricity. Real quickly, concerning this portal, the way to guard against politics and fraud of this Eyemark portal is let it be subject to peer review, that the information put on it can be independently verifiable.
That's a good point.
Through sources.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you have a counter source, you should be able to also put on the portal challenging the information so we have a proper peer review. But apart from that, it's a good portal, so at least we have accountability. But let it be peer reviewed.
Absolutely.
And let it be opened up.
Absolutely. I'll just say one thing on the Eyemark, and that is that it's important to know, just as you talked about skill transfer, that young people develop the website and mobile app with input from experts, industry experts. I think this is laudable. It's part of the achievement of this website, because we talk about the ingenuity of young Nigerians and what we can do. It's great to see that this is a Nigerian project, and we look forward to seeing how this will transform the way projects are done, are handled by this particular administration and beyond.
Well said, Ayo. We'll take our final story. In the wake of the denial by a federal high court in Abuja of a DSS application which called for the arrest of the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, over allegation bordering on acts of terrorism financing, the chairman of the Kaduna state chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend John Joseph Hayab, in a statement on Wednesday, said the bid to arrest Emefiele might be political, given the impact the redesign of the naira and limit on cash withdrawals might have on vote buying in the 2023 elections. In the meantime, some civil society groups are calling on the Department of State Services to stop what they say is a constant harassment of the CBN governor. A group called the Conference of Political Parties and Coalition of National Civil Society Organizations also say Emefiele is being persecuted by politicians who want to drown the economy by moving huge amounts of cash, while another organization, the Coalition of Civil Society Group, protested in the Nigerian capital Abuja and called on the DSS to obey court orders restraining it from arresting the CBN governor.
They cannot be counterfeited because of the security features in them. Nobody can counterfeit them.
Oh, unfortunately, we couldn't get that video there by that group calling for the DSS to obey the court orders. I mean, it is not, beyond that reasoning that, maybe politicians are behind the call for Emefiele's arrest, as it's being paraded all over the newspapers. Dr. Abati. Okay, the big news this morning is, one, the fact that the CBN has now reviewed the cash withdrawal limit in response to the feedback from the public. So it's interesting to see that the CBN listens to feedback, even when it's come up with a policy that is within its purview to put out there. The second thing, of course, is that if you want to criticize this review, you will say, well, beyond it looks like the elites will seem to have won, because the elites, the politicians in the National Assembly, were the ones saying, no, limit of 100,000 is too small. People who don't have money were not complaining about the limit. So it will look like the elites have had their way. But three, also, is that whatever the CBN governor has done, or the CBN has done, is within the powers of the CBN. And everybody, I keep repeating it, Section 1 of the CBN Act says that the CBN shall be an independent body in the discharge of its functions. And its functions, called the object of the CBN, are properly spelled out in Section 2 of that same CBN Act. And this is the point that is now being made in support of the CBN governor by a Lord Annan in the UK House of Lords, and also by the Center for Financial Surveillance and Illicit Transactions, saying that the independence of the CBN is very important for financial stability, for the integrity of the financial system in Nigeria, and that if Nigeria goes the other way, it could risk the country being blacklisted. Finally, Femi Falana has pushed the remaining arguments about how the DSS should not be abusing ex parte applications because it wants to arrest people. And how the ruling of the Court of Justice is commendable, and that the matter relating to fundamental rights, was treated expeditiously.
Earlier on, we had a conversation around this and talking about the fact that when are we going to eventually implement fully the cashless policy by the CBN? The CBN governor himself had said this when he had the meeting with the presidents, that this had been going on and on for so many years, and it was time to actually get it done and stop postponing it. Unfortunately, with this concession, even though, as Dr. Bati mentioned, it shows that they were open to dialogue and they listened to the concerns of people, it's important for Nigerians to also understand that for the benefit of the citizens, this has to happen. Absolutely. We can only postpone it, but it has to certainly happen. All right, Rufai, I'm just going to take that video from the group that called for the DSS to restrain themselves.
No more we stand against the CBN governor. The man has been doing wonderful jobs from inception of his appointment. We have seen him developing the Nigerian economy in the diverse means in which Nigerians are benefiting today. It will be a pleasure and our agreement in totality as Nigerian youths that the man in question should be allowed to remain focused, to do his job.
All right, Rufai, really quickly.
If politicians have nothing to be afraid of, why are they witch-hunting Emefiele? This didn't start today. This started with stamp duties. Now they are going the way of this DSS attacks and the man. Let us keep the policy in place. If politicians have nothing to fear. See, we keep saying, oh, maybe because of POS operators, and I gave a start recently, and I'm saying, please fact check me and verify me. NDIC, National Deposit Insurance Corporation, says over 90% of Nigerians do not have up to 500,000 naira in their bank accounts. So it is about the elite and the political class that want to withdraw a lot of money for their own election benefit. And that's why I asked, well, which kind of country do we want? Do we want to make this country work devoid of vote buying? If we want to do that, let's leave Emefiele alone.
All right, then. Thank you all.
Thank you
great
very much,
as always. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.